Hello again. Today I want to share something that I just received and it's fresh, so I want to get it right out. And it's about the creative process. So, in order to understand our role in everything that is happening right now in the world, it's very important to also understand how much power we have in creating things. Now, what I've just received was that every object has a frequency, and we inform this frequency with our frequency and the way that we treat the object. So basically, what happens is we can raise the frequency of an object and the effect that it then has on others or its surroundings with our own frequency and the love that we treat it with, or the opposite. So we can lower the frequency of an object and the way that it affects something or someone. So, in order to give some examples, I'm thinking of a friend of mine, for example, who said once to me, I remarked to her that um, I loved the way that she treated her surroundings and her clothes and her things. They were always so beautifully in order and taken so much care of. And she said to me that she views things as extensions of herself. And I really took that to heart and kept that for myself as well. Because sometimes I think, oh, I'm just going to throw this in the closet because nobody sees it there anyway. And it doesn't really matter, and it's just a pullover or whatever. And now I remember what she said, and every time I put things together now, not every time maybe, but a lot of the times, I'm thinking, okay, it's an extension of myself, or I would like to treat it as such. And it is incredible how the atmosphere in a room, for example, changes when you treat things with love and care and you put them in order. And yeah, I take a lot of care of my own space in that way. And I notice how I just feel so much more serene in it when I do that. So, what I've also been told was that when we infiltrate something, it replicates this process in patterns. Now, that may sound a little bit abstract, but basically, it means that what we do is not just a one off, it creates patterns that spread out, and that basically is an incredible power. And it's a little bit similar to what I said in the other video, my last video, about creating a path with a thought. Because if you think a thought, you create a path, and you think it again, you create a bigger path. And the more often you think it, the bigger the path gets, and the easier it is to walk for you and then also for others that follow you on that path, or notice that path, feel that path. Um, yeah, so another example I want to give is that I was once told that I was taking a nap in a place that I really loved. And I was thinking, sort of in my nap or half awake, half asleep, that I love this place so much that I wanted it to be welcoming and healing and warm for everyone who came. And then I received the information that every person who comes to a place leaves a certain frequency there. And the place then is informed by that frequency and sends it out. It's like it's reflecting it to everybody who comes there. And in this way, it kind of could be seen as the process that occurs the when um, the creative process of God putting his breath into his or her breath into Adam, which you may recall from the Bible, where an object is infused, or a person or something is infused with life through us. And that is the creative process, that we infuse something, or something with life, in sending it a certain frequency, that then it is reflecting out to the environment. Yeah. So, in order to make it a little more understandable, maybe think of the way that you feel when you enter a space, for example. How does it feel to be in that space? I mean, I have had the experience that some spaces inspire me to do certain things more than others, or I can do something particularly well in a space which I can't in others. For example, I remember a space of my grandaunt that inspired me so much to read, and it had a huge window, and she and her sister often sat by the window and read, and there were stacks of books there. uh, yeah, so or yeah, there are just some spaces that I can do particularly things very well, and then other things not at all. Or you enter a particular space and you really feel that it's not doesn't have a good atmosphere. So oftentimes when that happens, that means that something happened there that wasn't very nice, and that this frequency informed that space. So do take note more of the way that things feel. Oh, and I have another example. There was a person once that I met at a gathering, like a party, um, who spoke about an experience he had with a mask in the room of the host. The host collected masks from Africa and many other countries because he was a traveler, and had done an exhibition with it at some point. So this person, who was the friend of the host, had helped him with that exhibition, and he helped carry the masks from the van into the exhibition space. And then there was one mask, which was, I think, from Africa, that he took out of the van and almost immediately dropped it, like threw it far away from him, because he said, "Oh my God, I don't want to have anything to do with this thing." because it carried a certain frequency. And of course, we don't know what happened with that mask or what had happened with that mask, but that was a very strong reaction, and that person was not really into any kind of spirituality, as far as I know, but he just felt a very strong vibration from that mask that he really didn't like. So now, in this time where we're actually shifting dimensions, it's very important to learn more about the mechanics of energy and how to handle them. Because we're affected by them uh, every moment. And as the energy starts vibrating higher and becomes more flexible, our role in affecting that energy becomes also becomes more immediate. Um, so you can see this as, for example, the change of aggregate states moving from ice to water to vapor. That is an example of how how frequencies change and become higher and then more flexible. For example, ice is very dense and it's not flexible, it's hard. Then you go up when you get to water, which is flexible, as you know. And then if you go up one higher, it's vapor and it's so flexible you can just, brush it away, see through it. Yeah, and you can affect water easier than ice, for example. You can put your hand through it and make waves, and ice is just solid. So, in this way, of course, that also has a backlash on us, because on ice we can hit our hand if we, yeah, interact with it, so to speak. We can hurt ourselves more than we can with water. Yeah, I hope that's understandable. um, yes, so there was something else I wanted to say, and now it's not coming to me. Yeah, well, basically, when I thought about it then, was that love is the strongest force on earth. So if I treat something with love, it raises the frequency of this thing. And if I send out feelings of love to a person, it does a similar thing. It raises the frequency of the person, or it sends a potential to raise the frequency of a person. So if that person receives that frequency, there is a potential. It's like it's making the energetic structures more malleable or able to be raised. And basically, the key to communication with anything, any object, any person, is love. Yeah, so I think that's it for today. Bye.